Hello, hi, good afternoon. And today we're going to be discussing brand strategy versus content strategy. Do they mean the same thing? Do they not mean the same thing? What are they? If you're new into social media management, welcome. You would understand that this is our lingo. This is what we talk about every single time. So we're going to be looking at, do they mean the same thing? Do they not mean the same thing? What exactly do they refer to when you're talking about brand strategy and content strategy? So now, brand strategy has a lot to do with the purpose of the brand. Okay, now I would like to define brand strategy in a very um straight away straight away way. A brand strategy is a long-term blueprint that defines who a brand is, why it exists, who it serves, and how it should be perceived in the market. Let me take that again. A brand strategy is a long term blueprint that defines who a brand is, why it exists, who it serves, and how it should be perceived in the market. So, a brand strategy has a lot to do with the purpose and the mission of a brand. The purpose defines the fundamental reason a brand exists, shaping its mission to create a genuine connection with its audience and guide decision making. So, brand strategy is I would say it's broader than a content strategy. A brand strategy is more like before a brand even exists, the first thing that should be established after you decide, oh, this is it. Even the brand name comes under a brand strategy. The brand name, because if we're going to go for a luxury brand, we cannot go with Emeka and Sons as the name of the brand. So we have to look for a classy brand. If the brand is going to speak luxury, we have to look for a name for the brand. So this is the thing that brand strategy covers. It covers the purpose, why it exists, the foundation, the identity of the brand itself, the target audience, how it should be perceived in the market, the position, the tone, how every billboard, how every flyer, how every commercial that goes out is perceived from the brand, if it stays and if it aligns with the brand. Why the what the brand exists to solve. What does the brand exist to solve? What's the solution that they're bringing to the table? Who are they for? Like I mentioned, the target audience. What exactly makes them different, from every of their competitors? This is what a brand strategy covers. So when even a logo, because a logo is part of what you're going to bring, they talk about the brand identity, or don't forget I mentioned identity. So you're going to talk about the identity, you're going to talk about the fonts, you're going to talk about the designs, you're going to talk about everything that has to do with the branding as a whole. So that's like brand strategy. Even the website, if there's going to be a website, what kind of website is it going to be? you know what promises are they consistently promising to deliver? How should people feel when they interact with the brand generally? So a brand strategy seeks to position the brand out there as the blueprint. As okay, for example, I have a brand, I want to start up a business. However I want my brand to be perceived is what a brand strategy does for the brand. So now a content strategy, on the other hand, has a lot to do with the content goals, content pillars, and platform strategies. That is the content goals. Content, don't let's not forget what we're talking about here. We're talking about videos, we're talking about reels. When we talk about content, we're talking about content as a whole. Everything on the internet is content. The reels, the carousels, every single thing is content. So we're talking about, oh, what are the content goals? What are we looking at? What does the brand seek to achieve? When we're doing a document that contains a content strategy, we're looking at, oh, what does the brand seek to achieve through content? What is their online positioning? What are they positioning themselves as? Okay, we've looked at the brand strategy and we're like, okay, this brand seeks to position itself as a luxury brand. How well can I position the brand, brand content? How well can I position the content strategy to look the way it should look? So I think that the difference is very clear. It's just that most of the time we use the word interchangeably. It's not the same. Brand strategy is way broader than it seems to be. So, like I said, content strategy has a lot to do with establishing the goals, has helps to align the message with business objectives. What are the objectives of the business? Ensuring that every piece serves a purpose, whether it's brand awareness, lead generation, and customer engagement. If you're a social media manager, that definitely sounds familiar. I do not need to explain that. Content pillars. It definitely contains content pillars. What are the foundational themes, that supports the brand's messaging framework, guiding the types of content created and ensuring consistency across all platforms or channels? What platforms are we putting on? How many times are we posting? What are our foundational themes? Are we doing educational? Are we doing salesy? What exactly are we doing? If we're doing workout content, what kind of workout content are we doing? What's the purpose it's achieving? What platforms are we posting on? Are we going on just on Instagram? Are we facing on YouTube? Are we posting on TikTok? What's our strategy like for this platform? How many times a week are we posting? What kind of posts are we putting up there? Things like that. The platform strategy outlines where the content will be distributed, ensuring optimal engagement with the target audience by adapting messaging and format to the unique characteristics of each platform. That definitely does sound familiar. I know. So we're going straight into brand strategy versus content strategy. I want to bring this together for you. So brand strategy is essential as it establishes the brand's unique identity, guiding every aspect of its presence in the market. It guides So, brand strategy versus content strategy. Brand strategy is essential as it establishes the brand unique identity, guiding every aspect of its presence in the marketplace and ensuring consistency in messaging and perception. So, brand strategy is more like the first map that is made for a brand, and then every other thing aligns. The content strategy aligns with the brand strategy. Okay, so most of the time when you get a brand or a brand reaches out to you, one of the first things you're going to ask is their brand strategy, or you ask about the brand. You're going to ask a lot of information about the brand. What's their brand tone? What's the font? What do they do? What's their color? What's the logo? You're going to ask everything. What's the story of the brand? You're going to ask because all of these things definitely would help you communicate properly when you're creating a content strategy. It will help you communicate properly as regards, oh, what kind of content strategy should you make? What kind of content strategy should you go for? What's the brand's focus and things like that. So content strategy, on the other hand, outlines how that identity, that's that brand identity, is communicated, detailing the methods and channels used to engage the audience and convey the brand's message effectively across various platforms. I think that is straightforward. So if you have any questions, just put it for me, put it for me, put it for me. We're going to talk about it. So the next thing we're going to talk about is collaborations of these things. So where do they merge? I think in everything I've been saying, it is clear already where they actually merge. A brand strategy defines the core identity of a business, establishing its purpose, mission, and values that resonate with the target audience and shape overall perception. When we talk about overall perception, it's broader than it looks. You need to sit down and actually like the overall perception. When the brand strategy is brought to the table, there's a lot that the brand strategists have to look at. The mark. Let's not go deep into that. So, content strategy translates the brand identity into actionable communication, determining how and where the brand shares its message to engage and connect effectively with its audience. So now you know that there is a difference between a brand strategy and a content strategy. So don't disappoint me next time, okay? When a brand reaches out to you and they're telling you, oh, we're taking you up for the role of a brand strategist, you kind of understand your role now. Or they ask you to give a content strategy, you kind of understand your role now, don't you? All right. Love you. Bye, ciao.